5:15. Now, though, those scammers are at it again.
We live so much of our lives now online, it's inevitable that we have to divulge some personal information in the process. But that doesn't mean we should be held hostage to unscrupulous scammers.
My heart dropped. I can see the transactions coming out of my bank account. 5,000, 10,000. The horror,
I got done up like a kipper, basically.
In the last year, the UK has lost almost £500 million to internet scams.
I saw my balance and it said zero. I just felt physically sick.
I've lost all this money. You've not lost it, it's been stolen.
The scammer's victims are left out of pocket and vulnerable.
It starts to make you doubt almost everything.
These guys out there know so much about me and I've not given permission for that.
I felt stupid, I felt like completely humiliated by it.
My mum Mavis and I are uncovering invaluable lessons for all ages as we look how to stay safe online and avoid the fraudsters' traps.
The more information that the scammers have on you, the more problems you have.
The bank will never, ever ask you to move money.
As well as meeting the people working to apprehend the fraudsters responsible.
Because we all need protection from the dirty, rotten scammers.
Today we'll be revealing the clever tricks used to catch us out when we least expect it.
I didn't think at the time anything was unusual about the website at all. It was fully professional.
We hear the long-term effects for those who fall foul of the fraudsters.
My daughter, from time to time, she just pipes up and says, "Daddy, I keep dreaming about those nasty men that took our money."
And our industry experts share their intel so that you can stay one step ahead of the scammers.
If you're going to part with any personal or financial information, be cynical. Who's at the other side of the computer? Who can see what you're putting in?
I don't know about you, Mum, but sometimes I feel like I can be a bit too trusting online. Like I'm treating it as if everything I'm doing is like real life.
Well, you know what I'm like, Michelle. I worry about everything I do online. I think it's mostly because I'm not sure what I should be looking for.
Well, we're on our way to meet someone who was happy to pay an invoice from a business he trusted. Trouble was, it'd been sent by a scammer. Self-employed mechanic Nathan was building his dream family home. And having carefully avoided the usual pitfalls of self-builds, the finish line was in sight.
My partner and I were in a lucky situation where we got planning permission to build on some land. Building had progressed really well, and we were down to the last payments, really. I had 2 outstanding invoices, one which was for a friend and one which was for the heating company. Both these invoices totaled up to just under £12,500 combined.
Right, a lot of money.
Yes, especially when you're building a house because everything's on budget.
Yeah.
We've put everything into it.
Nathan went ahead and paid the final invoices, over £6,000 each.
What happened next?
Virtually for a whole week, nothing. And then the one invoice which was due, which was from the friend of mine, he rang me and asked, had I received the email with the invoice? There I said, yes, all paid that night. Within half an hour of receiving the email. He said, well, it's not in my account.
Oh dear. At that point, did you feel a little bit suspicious?
At that point, I just thought, oh, it's been held up, it's quite a considerable amount. So I rang the bank and they turned around and said, yes, the payment's gone through. So I rang Paul back and said, yeah, it's all gone, Paul. It's not in my account, it's not on hold or anything. So I got the email up on my phone and I said, it's these bank details. To which his response was, that's not my bank.
Oh my goodness me.
Man.
So at this point, I sent him the invoice and we were there on the phone and he turned around and just said, Nath, that's my invoice, but they are not my bank details.
Now panicking, Nathan became concerned about the second invoice he'd paid.
That morning, spoke to them and they just turned around and confirmed, we've not received the money. The money just went.
Oh my goodness.
Scary that, isn't it?
I went and picked Paul up. We went down to the police station and spoke to them and they just said, we're not interested, it's nothing to do with the police.
Wow.
So a friend of mine that's very good with computers, he looked into my Google account to find that they hacked my Google email account, copied the invoices, deleted the original emails from the two companies, and they had control of my account.
So they'd actually gone through your emails and found specific emails that had invoice information on and replaced them.
Yes.
So it was the same email address as it came through us.
This is where the fraudsters were very clever. Paul's email address ended in AOL.com. This one came from Outlook.com.
Oh dear God.
What was going through your mind at that point?
When I found out that day that the money had actually gone, I felt very lost and angry. How am I ever going to afford to pay this? Again. What am I going to tell my family and friends, partner?
I mean, doing building work is stressful at the best of times, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then suddenly a huge chunk of your money's gone. You can't even trace it.
You plan and budget for everything, and then for that amount to go missing, it's hard. It's hard.
And it's taken its toll. I mean, how's it affected the rest of your family?
To be honest, I don't think we talked about it as much as we should have. And the reason I think that was is the only person at the time I was blaming was myself. My daughter, from time to time, she just pipes up and says, Daddy, I keep dreaming about those nasty men that took our money. And that still puts a lump in my throat.
It's totally changed you, hasn't it, Nathan?
A lot. A lot.
All scenarios must have gone through your mind. Did they know I was doing building work? Is that why I was targeted? Are they around? Is somebody watching me and giving information to someone saying they're having building work done? There'll be bills coming out. I mean, everything would be going through your mind, wouldn't it?
That's right.
Whilst Nathan was able to do some initial investigating, he still doesn't know how the fraudsters managed to walk away with the £12,500, or whether he's still at risk. To get to the bottom of it, we've gathered a team of world-class ethical hackers who are trained to think like cybercriminals. With their help, we want to provide Nathan with the knowledge to protect himself against the scammers in the future. What are you hoping we might be able to help with, Nathan?
To this day, I don't know how they've managed to hack my email account.
So that's something that you would like to know how they did?
Oh, I'd love to know how they did it. I really, really would. And I won't give up. I will not give up.
We've sent our ethical hackers off to investigate what made Nathan vulnerable to scheming scammers. And whilst I find out exactly how this scam works, Michelle is on a mission to discover how fraudsters are gaining access to our private accounts.
Cases of invoice fraud, like Nathan's, where scammers intercept personal emails and change payment details to their own, are on the rise. In 2019 alone, there were 4,732 reported cases of personal invoice and mandate scams. And recent figures show that UK businesses are losing over £90 million every year as a result.
Hi there, Jan. Good to meet you. Hello, nice to meet you too.
According to digital forensics specialist Dr. Jan Colley, it's often our passwords that are leaving us exposed.
People have a habit of using the same password or slight variations of the same password over and over again. Normally these are very guessable things like my cat 123. I mean, I think still the most prevalent password is literally 123456. I mean, it just is heart-stopping. I actually rocked up at a secure facility some years ago to do an investigation. This was so secure that it had all the big fences, you know, the iron fences, the guys with dogs, and it turned out the password on the main server was password. We did not know whether to laugh or cry. I kid you not. But you might as well have not just given the burglar the key to your door, you might as well have just opened the door and put the welcome mat out.
What kind of password should we be using then?
My personal recommendation would be a different password for everything if you possibly can. So that there are these bits of software out there called a password bank, so that you can store all your individual passwords. So you've only got to remember the one password. So you can store your stuff under one great big password, which should be a phrase or saying that you will remember, but then you change the odd thing. You'd want to put some capitals in, you might want to put in an ampersand there somewhere, or you might want to substitute the odd letter with the number, for instance. This is actually what I do myself, because I know I'm never going to remember everything.
A lot of us are under the principle that because we haven't been hacked, we're safe. But would you say, really, it's only a matter of time until a scam comes to our door?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a numbers game.
Well, I think that's enough of a scare from Jan to make me try one of these password banks. I find it impossible to remember all my different passwords. I'm keen to know if Mum's memory is any better than mine.
Have you ever forgotten a birthday?
Why are you looking at me like that? I've never forgotten your birthday.
No, you haven't forgotten my birthday. No. I think you've got quite a good memory, to be fair.
Yeah, for my age, I think it's still ticking well.
Well, maybe I'll get Mum to remember my passwords for me then.
These days, it's not just our hard-earned cash that the scammers are after. Our personal information is in high demand, and in the wrong hands can result in identity fraud. Laura works with the community paediatric team at a children's hospital in Liverpool. When renewing her driving licence, she fell into a trap, not only losing money, but also revealing a dangerous amount of detail about herself.
I applied online to get my provisional licence. I clicked on the first link that I saw and put everything I thought I needed to put in. They didn't ask me for a photo, which I thought was unusual, but I thought it was just going to be a renewal, so they'd still use the old picture. So after I applied online, I did actually receive a confirmation email. Once your application is fully processed and submitted to the DVLA system, you should expect to receive your licence in 1 to 2 weeks, but usually much sooner. And it's signed by the driving licence processing team. And that was it really. I didn't think anything of it again. But after 2 months, it still hadn't arrived. I thought I'd just chase it up, and then that's when I called the actual DVLA. They didn't know anything about it, and they said nothing has come through to them, so it has been a scam. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Laura had handed over £79 to the website and got nothing in return. And with this sort of thing affecting hundreds of us every day, these websites are clocking up big money. But for her, getting the new driving licence had personal significance too.
My dad died a couple of months ago from COVID, and before he died, he did really want me to start lessons again and start driving again. So, I mean, if that would have come in time, he would have seen that I was doing something, actively doing my lessons again before he died, and that would have made him happy. So that really affects me as well, to be honest.
Laura certainly isn't the first to fall foul of a copycat site. According to the DVLA, this type of website is becoming increasingly common.
When you type in provisional licence renewal, you'd assume that the first webpage would come up would be the most popular, the most viewed website, and the one that is the official website. I didn't think at the time anything was unusual about the website at all. It was fully professional and it just seemed so legit, and you know, I wouldn't have thought any different.
Laura now has bigger concerns, as it wasn't just her money that she handed over.
I filled out a lot of information. From what I remember, it was like 4 pages long, asking me all kinds of stuff. Name, date of birth, where I live, where I used to live. So it makes me worry about why they wanted all that information and how they're going to use that information.
Our ethical hackers are right on the case to see exactly what information is available to scammers about Laura online.
Websites like the one Laura used have become a real issue for the DVLA, who saw an incredible 531% increase in fraudulent behaviour in 2020 when compared with the same 3 months the previous year. Spoof websites and typo squatting are 2 of the big problem areas for them. So I'm meeting up with Amber Burridge from CFAS, the UK's fraud prevention service, to find out how to spot a fraudulent site and keep hacker hands off our personal information.
Can you just explain typo squatting? What is it and how does that affect us?
So this is where criminals essentially make a website that looks and feels very much like a banking website or a service provider website. So, you know, it looks and feels the same, but essentially what they're trying to do is harvest all your personal and financial information off the back of it. And we know HMRC, DVLA have all had their websites spoofed and, you know, kind of copied in the past year.
What would be an example of a typo squat then?
So essentially, you know, you might get an email that comes through that, you know, we see it quite a lot through the likes of like PayPal and Amazon, for instance, that say, oh, you need to verify something on your account. You click on the link and you're brought to a website that looks and feels very much like those service providers. You know, it will ask you to log in. What they're doing in that process is capturing your logging in details.
What should we be really looking out for on those types of websites to help us stay protected?
So I think the key thing is grammar, spelling, you know, look at the web address as well. Has it got gov.uk in the top? But also, if you use a search engine, don't click on the first advert that comes up. Have a bit of a scroll first, because it's always important just to take a few moments. If you're going to part with any personal or financial information, be cynical. Who's at the other side of the computer? Who can see what you're putting in? But also, if you do want to speak to a service provider, do a search, get the number. If you've got correspondence, use the number off that correspondence, as opposed to if you've got a text message or an email. Just call the service provider in the first instance.
According to the DVLA, only they can renew a driving licence. And the only official place to find their services and information online is on gov.uk.
When a scammer gets their hands on your money, it can feel like you've got a mountain to climb to get it back. But that didn't deter Claire. She was determined to come out on top in a David versus Goliath battle.
So much paperwork. So at the time, I was 7 months pregnant, working full-time. I had a chest infection, I was vulnerable, I was tired, I had baby brain. I just got home from work, 5:15, got a text message. There had been fraudulent activity on my account.
Thinking a quick call would resolve the issue, Claire rang the number from the text.
I was trying to get out the door, I was trying to get to a baby event. When I finally got through to what I thought was the bank, he was very professional. He seemed to know exactly what he was talking about. He was asking me various questions. He had asked me about transactions on my account. Was this one mine? He says, is this Apple one yours? No, the Apple one is definitely not mine. You need to make sure that you secure my account, because I definitely haven't spent any money with Apple online. I felt what he was trying to do was to help me.
After a lengthy conversation, Claire thought the issue had been resolved. But once on the road, she started to doubt herself.
I've stopped, I've pulled over the car, I've logged into my internet banking. I can see the transactions as it's refreshing coming out of my bank account. 5,000, 10,000, it's coming out in batches, and I'm suddenly panicked beyond belief. The horror, the horror of seeing that money leave my account. I couldn't tell you, I was screaming at the phone, and the panic of trying to fumble with your phone. How do I get the number? How do I stop this? How do I find the Santander fraud department? How do I try and stop? I need to stop it now. You need to secure my account right now. Yeah, please, someone is in my account right now. It brings it all back. It brings it all back, the panic.
But Claire was too late. The scammers had managed to decimate her savings.
The fraudster took out $71,700 out of my account.
And to make matters worse, it was money left to her after her father had recently passed away.
My dad's inheritance meant a lot to me. It was going to help me pay for my maternity leave. It was going on the deposit for the house. And I lost that in an instant. I lost my peace of mind. I lost my security. It was devastating. It was absolutely devastating.
And her bank claimed they were unable to help her. Claire was told that she had acted in gross negligence, and as a result, they were not going to pay back a penny of her £71,000.
I felt more or less instantly dismissed by the bank and not listened to. And that was hard to take. A decision was made on the refund of my money the very next day.
Claire became determined to take action against her bank and reached out to victims of similar crimes online.
I knew that in a few months' time, the baby was going to be on the way and I wasn't going to be able to fight this on my own.
Claire had taken on a mammoth challenge, and she would never have guessed where her fight would lead her.
Both Nathan and Laura have agreed to put themselves in the hackers' hands once more. But this time, it's our ethical hackers in control. These cyber superheroes use the criminals' own techniques to uncover what makes us vulnerable to scammers and help us prevent future attacks. ICRA holds a master's in preventing online crime and has made a breakthrough concerning Nathan's online security.
Hi, ICRA. So just give us an update on what you found out about Nathan.
With regards to Nathan, we did find some passwords out there that were in data breaches. And the common problem that we found with those passwords on Nathan, and I don't want to give too much away, but Nathan seems to be falling into old habits on the passwords that he's been setting.
I see what you mean. We really need to be on it in terms of changing our passwords, don't we? It's made me think about mine, to be fair.
Oh, I've just got so many. It's daunting to even think about changing them, but that's absolutely good advice, and I think that's something that we all need to do.
I don't know how Nathan is going to take these findings, but at least he'll know what's out there. A data breach leaves you exposed to scammers, but there are ways you can protect yourself. Websites like haveibeenpawned.com can tell you if your email has been exposed in a data breach and where they were leaked. Strengthen your logins, passwords, and security questions for that site. And always report suspect activity to authorities such as Action Fraud. When it comes to Laura's case, it's her social media presence that's concerning the hackers.
So in terms of Laura, we did get a substantial amount of employment history on Laura, so much so that we could probably write her CV for her. And that might not be something that a lot of people think is problematic to put out there. After all, LinkedIn exists for a reason, but that information can still be used against you because a lot of the times credit card companies want to know if you're employed in what sector, so the scammer can take out a loan in your name, and the higher the credit limit, the worse it can be for you, but the better it can be for the scammer.
So are there ways we can take this information down?
One of the main ways that you can think about is think about the privacy settings on your social media accounts, because a lot of the times it is social media that has that information out there about you, but you should be in control of that and make sure that only your friends are able to view that.
Well, thanks for that brilliant advice.
Thank you. Bye.
Earlier, we met Claire, who lost over £70,000 after fraudsters posed as her bank to get access to her account. When Claire's bank said they were unable to refund any of the money, she became resolute about fighting back.
I was finding that there were more victims coming forward saying, actually, this has happened to me.
Claire's campaign eventually came to the attention of the independent bank fraud expert, Richard Emery. Richard had been inundated with appeals for help from others like Claire, who'd fallen foul of the bank's systems.
So we can just sit down, chat through the paperwork, see what we can do, see how we can work it out, tell the story. I had a number of cases come to me over a 3-month period. I would probably estimate that those cases were in the order of £350,000 to £400,000. Now, those are just the cases that came across my desk. Nobody should feel embarrassed about coming forward and saying, I have been the victim of fraud.
This happened to me.
The fraudsters are manipulative and they make people feel embarrassed. They make people feel that they should remain silent. So it really was important that you came forward. The banks were rejecting cases like Claire's, accusing them of being negligent.
Undeterred, Claire and Richard began to put a case together to take on the bank.
The regulations actually say the bank has to demonstrate the customer has been grossly negligent. There is no legal definition of gross negligence, despite the fact that it's widely used in contracts. So I went back and looked at the European regulations and other legal environments, and I ended up writing a definition of gross negligence. It's the equivalent of writing down your PIN in an undisguised form on a piece of paper and putting it in your wallet or purse with your debit card. All you have to do is drop your wallet or purse, somebody picks it up, it's a foreseeable risk of loss, and it's something you don't need to do. But in Claire's case, she was not acting voluntarily, she was being socially engineered, and she did not understand there was any risk associated with what she was doing. Therefore, she was not grossly negligent.
The case was successful, and the bank was forced to pay Claire back the £71,000 in stolen funds.
It had been going on for so long, but the day that I received that letter, it felt like it was elation. It felt so good to be back on track. I had a bottle of champagne in the fridge, ready and waiting. I opened it the day that it went into my bank account. I had a very nice glass of champagne. Finally, it was over.
But Richard didn't stop there. In order to help the many other victims of this scam, he teamed up with the Financial Ombudsman Service to force banks to change their interpretation of gross negligence on the part of the scam victims. And he was successful. The banks changed the way they operate to protect consumers so that only if a victim had purposefully authorised the payment would they be deemed responsible.
It was truly a case of opening the floodgates to resolving the cases. I personally know of £600,000 that was reimbursed on the instructions of the Financial Ombudsman Service. I believe that the total figure ran into several million. I have to admit, it felt good.
Once cybercriminals get their hands on our personal data and private accounts, it can open doors to our hard-earned cash. After completing a house build, father of two Nathan was left devastated after a scammer intercepted his unpaid invoices, and he unwittingly paid over £12,000 into their account.
They hacked my Google email account, copied the invoices, deleted the original emails from the two companies, and they had control of my account.
Nathan was desperate to know how hackers could have infiltrated his email account. So we've invited him back to see us so he can share what our experts have uncovered.
So our tech expert has advised us that your email account is one of the most dangerous places for scammers to gain access to. If a scammer gains access to your email account, you should consider that they've gained access to every single one of your accounts, including your online banking. It's almost a gateway for them. So when we last spoke, you wanted to know how you could be more confident in knowing this wouldn't happen to you again. Obviously, it's quite stressful not being able to trust anything online. One way to check if anyone has accessed your email account is basically by doing a bit of spying on yourself. So if you have a look at this here, if you go to your email security, you can manage devices, and then you can effectively see all the devices that are currently logged into your account. So this is an example. So these are all the different devices that are logged in to that specific account. You can even check the IP address, so the location that those devices are logged into. So the main thing that you're checking is that you recognise all of those locations and that they're all you.
And that's the Google email account.
Exactly, so you can head on there.
Yeah.
You can also set up alerts so that anytime anyone logs in to your email from a new device, you get pinged about it.
Yes.
So hopefully with all those things in place, you feel a bit more confident.
But as well as security advice, there's something even more urgent that Nathan needs to know.
Passwords are another really crucial element of staying safe online. Our cyber experts found your email address exposed together with this. So if you just turn over that card. So our experts were able to find this password online. Is that something that looks familiar to you? Have you ever used it before?
There is possibly many, many, many years ago, but nothing in the last few years, not even I can remember using it, to be honest with you.
But the experts did find it publicly available out there, being used as a password associated with you. So it might be worth just going through any of your old passwords or just triple checking that it isn't something that has been used and you've forgotten about.
This isn't the only time Nathan's details have been exposed online, and without the right security measures, he's still vulnerable.
The reason we wanted to talk about this password is because it was available via a data breach. And we know that you've been involved in multiple data breaches going back as far as 2016. So we're advised that it's likely scammers will try a combination of the passwords that they have and your email account that you have, hoping to gain access.
Yes.
So it might not be that they have the exact wording, but they'll try a few different attempts to try and achieve that. Exactly. We suspect this data breach is why scammers were able to gain access to your email account.
It's surprising that there is that amount of detail on there, especially when it comes to passwords.
I mean, did you know that your details had been, involved in data breaches?
Not that I was aware of, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, this is the thing with the data breach. It is kind of out of our hands. We're not in control of when these happen. So again, it's critical that you change the passwords on all of your accounts, log out of all devices and secure everything so that scammers can't get the access again.
It's amazing that this information is available.
Nathan never got his money back, but despite the serious financial setback, he is now armed with the tools to ensure his email account is fully secured against hackers in the future.
What positives are you going to come away with, do you think?
Definitely have a good clear out of passwords and that, and move on forward, onwards and upwards.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we've got to move on. We've just got to be armed and extremely dangerous.
Oh, very dangerous.
And just try and be safe
That's
online.
Right. That's right. You've got to be wise about it and be safe, not be silly.
And changing your passwords as often as you can.
Yes, most definitely.
Good luck.
Thank you. When they said that there'd been breaches and there's ways to look at these breaches, that's something I will certainly be looking at, which, fingers crossed, will keep me safe in the future.
How secure are you online? Get smart on scams with the Open University. Learn more about cybercrime and how to stay safe on the web. Head to bbc.co.uk/scammers and follow the links to the Open University. Earlier, we met NHS worker Laura, who's worried about how fraudsters might use her data after being stung by a copycat DVLA website when renewing her driving licence.
I clicked on the first link that I saw, and when I called the actual DVLA, they didn't know anything about it. I filled out a lot of information. It was like 4 pages long, asking me all kinds of stuff.
We're meeting up with Laura face-to-face to reveal what our cyber experts discovered when investigating her case.
Now, our experts have been looking into your case and the information that's available about you online. Unfortunately, the ethical hackers have managed to find a lot more information about you that does mean you're at risk of being scammed. So firstly, we were able to find your social media, multiple accounts in fact, many of which had completely open settings, so basically no security at all, allowing anyone to see your profile and your details.
Yeah.
This led to our hackers being able to determine a car make, model and registration associated with you and your family. When you post things online, an attacker can use this information along with other details to commit identity theft or other types of fraud. Are you normally careful with what you post, or is it something that you didn't really think about?
No, I'm not very private on social media at all. But I didn't actually think scammers could see it, so it'd be something that I'd think about more in the future.
I totally understand that, don't you? You know, initially I wouldn't have put the dots together. You just think, oh, the scammers.
We just don't think that there's going to be people that want to use our data maliciously, wanting to exploit us. That's certainly not what we think when we're putting a nice picture up there, are we?
I'm not really that interested. I don't know who would want all that information, so...
I mean, I think we all think like that, that we're not that interesting to anybody outside of our friends and family. But
that's it.
I mean, to scammers, they're very interested in us and any data that they can pick up on us.
I think when you're younger as well, you put a lot of information on, and as you get older and you do get more aware of these things, you don't go back and delete things because you just forget, like, that account exists or what you've put on. So that's something to consider as well, I think.
And also something to consider is putting your privacy settings on so that, you know, only your friends and family can have a look at those pictures and, you know, lovely moments that you've had.
Yeah.
Our hackers have found a treasure trove of personal information on Laura, and the car was just the beginning.
Now, when we were looking at your online footprint, our cyber experts did find a lot of other personal information about you. Details like the model of your phone and your network provider. Now, our experts have told us that fraudsters will use information like this paired with details they already have on you, like your name, your address, your phone number, date of birth, to make their story seem more legitimate. For example, if they want to call you and pretend to be from your phone network, they could seem quite convincing at this point with all those details gathered together. So this is something to be aware of for you anytime your phone rings going forward.
That is really shocking to me because I did come here thinking that you'd find some of that, but I didn't think it'd be to that extent.
We don't often put all those pieces of the puzzle together, do we?
No.
Knowing that that information is out there means if you do get a call, you can think, hold on a minute.
They could have got this information from anywhere, yeah.
But that's not all. There's something else our ethical hackers have found that Laura didn't want anyone to see.
Another reason to be careful and consider reassessing your online security is that we found your information had been exposed in at least 4 separate data breaches.
Okay.
Our cyber experts did find this piece of information exposed online and available publicly. If you could just turn that white card over there, Laura.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I can't believe that. How the hell has that happened?
So this is one of your passwords.
Yeah, it's one I use quite a lot, to be honest.
Do you use it at the minute?
Yeah.
You're still using that password?
Yeah.
This is not a magic trick, this is real.
No, I'm still using this password. I'm so shocked by that, I can't believe that. It does feel like a magic trick, though. It's terrible.
That is a password that's out there. It's available for anybody to see. It's available for scammers to use and get into your account. There are actually several passwords available online for you. This is just one of them.
Okay.
So any accounts using the exposed passwords are in danger of fraud. You need to re-secure them. You need to change your passwords.
I feel like changing them right now. I'm so, worried. I can't believe that. I feel like literally going on my laptop and changing everything. That's made me so worried about what information people can get. I just can't believe that because I use it all the time. It's so silly of me, isn't it?
It's something that we all do.
Yeah.
It's time-consuming changing passwords, but seeing one of your passwords that you're using here in black and white, I think that's kind of going to shock you into action, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel very vulnerable and exposed, to be honest. And I'm angry that there are people that do this to other people.
But they're criminals, aren't they?
Yeah. But you never know who it could be.
It's faceless.
Yeah.
That's it. You just don't know, and it's unnerving. The only thing we can do is be aware of what's happening, as you are now, and make some changes.
Yeah.
You just need to lock that key to your online world, don't you?
To just being more aware is the main thing, isn't it? Just to feel that security going forward so this doesn't happen to me again.
What do you think the first thing will be that you do when you head home?
I'm going to change my passwords, definitely.
Definitely.
And I'm going to come up with a one no one will guess, and I'm going to change all of them. I'll be there all night.
Go for it, Laura. I
Yeah.
love it. It's time worth spending on it.
It's
though.
definitely worth it, yeah. I'm really happy that I came today to find out this information. For the future, I'm not going to be the same person that I was typing in willy-nilly online. I'm just going to, start really thinking about it and being more secure for my own safety.
Laura had never been that concerned about her online safety before, had she?
No, but I think that's a lot of us, isn't it? But sometimes taking the extra time to think about what we're sharing, to read the small print is essential. Spending an extra couple of minutes to think everything through will really benefit you in the long run.
If you fancy a new series to feast on, Hungry for It is on the iPlayer menu with 10 wannabe chefs on a cooking journey. On BBC One, tonight's semi-final challenge is to create a kimono. The Great British Sewing Bee is bang on trend at 9.